All right, so here we go. We're taking a quiz tomorrow. That's Tuesday, and it's going to cover this stuff right here. So let's do, what's wrong page? Let me look at this. Let's do number 2 first. Let's do this. I'm trying to do different problems than what I did in the third period class, because if you want to, you can go to the third period class on YouTube, watch that, because I'll do different problems on that one than I'll do here. Okay, it's the same kind of problems, but just so that you have, so I'm not doing the same exact problems for both classes. Yeah, I'll do number 4. All right, let's start off with number 4. I don't think I did that in the other class. It says parallel. We want to write an equation of a line in slope-intercept form. As soon as you see that, when you see write an equation of a line in slope-intercept form, what's the first thing you think of? What is the slope-intercept form? Good. Y equals mx plus b. Everybody in here. We've said this dozens and dozens of times. Okay, y equals mx plus b. So that's what you want your answer to look like. It needs to look like this, except your m is going to have a number in it, right? And your b is going to have a number. This x and y just stay x and y. Everybody hear what I just said? That's very important. I said that over and over and over again, and it's important that you hear that. It says parallel to. I'll just do the symbol for parallel. These up and down lines right here. Parallel to this equation right here. And it has an x-intercept. So they tell you two things. They tell you an equation of a line, and they tell you the x-intercept. Now let's think about this. I've got two types of problems here. I've got where it says parallel, and I've got another problem that says it's what? Perpendicular. Okay. Now that tells us something. What does that tell us? It tells us something about the slope. That's right. So what I do is I look for the slope of the line that they give us. This is the line that they're giving us. So they're giving me some information about this line. So they say that the line we're trying to figure out is parallel to this line right here. So what does that tell us about our line? Calvin, tell me. For parallel? If parallel, look, picture what parallel lines do. They don't intersect each other. They slant the same exact way. So what's true about their slopes? They're the same. Okay, they are the same. So the slope of my line has got to be the same as the slope of this line. What if it was a problem that said perpendicular instead of parallel? What would my slope be? It'd be the negative reciprocal. So what would the slope be then? The actual number? 4. Right, 4 over 1. Right, positive 4 over 1. But it doesn't say perpendicular, does it? It says parallel. So our slope is negative 1/4. Is everybody watching? Is everybody paying attention to what I'm saying right here? It's not that difficult. Some of you guys act like you have no clue what I'm talking about when I see on a quiz or a test. If they give you an equation and it says our equation is parallel to their equation, what do I look for? I look for the slope. So our slope is the same as their slope. If it was perpendicular, it would be the negative reciprocal. But this one's not. It's parallel, so it's the same. Now, what else do they tell me? They tell me the x-intercept. Well, let's think about this. You don't have to graph this, but I'm doing it just so you can visualize. We've talked about this before, but I'll do it again. The x-intercept is where it crosses the x-axis, and it says it crosses the x-axis at positive 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the x-intercept right there. What's the actual ordered pair of that point right there? Is it 0, 4? It's 4, 0, right. That point right there, the x-intercept is 4, 0. Everybody see that? So that gives me a point. And I really want a point. Because what does that point give me? What is the 4 in this ordered pair? This is your x, and what's the 0? That's your y. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay, that's what I want. Why do I care about having those three things? Because what am I trying to plug it into? Y equals mx plus b. Now take a look. That's my x, that's my y, that's my m. The rest of it is just plug and chug. We're just going to take those numbers and plug it into this formula. Everybody watching? Everybody paying attention? See some people kind of wandering already. Let's watch what's going on. It's not that difficult. I took the slope. I'm going to take that slope. I'm going to put it right there. I take the x. And where did I get that point 4, 0? By knowing that the x-intercept was 4. So that point is 4, 0. So I take this, the 4, and I put it where? in for the x. And I take the 0 and I put it where? In for the y. Plug and chug, right? Just take those three things, plug them into my formula, and what am I going to solve for? What's the one thing I don't know here? The b. So I'm going to solve for b. You okay with that? Let's do it. It's not hard. It's just doing some math. Let's plug the stuff in first. What is y? 0. Equals m. What is m? Negative 1/4. What is x? It's positive 4. Now, if I'm going to multiply it by a fraction, how should I write it? Put over 1. Good. All right. And then plus what? Plus b. And now I just do some math, and then I solve for b. It shouldn't be that hard, even though it's a fraction. Don't freak out when you see this fraction. They made this really easy for you. What happens here? 4's cancel out, right? And it's negative 1 over 1. What's negative 1 over 1? Negative 1 over positive 1. It's negative 1. See that? That was easy. Don't flip out just because you see a fraction. It's not that difficult. Just cancel those out. You got a negative 1. Let's keep solving for b. One more step and we're done, right? Add a 1 to both sides. What's 0 plus 1? It's 1. So the b is 1. Now, we got to put it all together, don't we? We got to put it all together in that slope-intercept form. So it's got to look like this. Now, I'm writing this 3 times. You don't have to write that 3 different times, but I did just. What is my m? Remember what we found for the m? That was the negative 1/4. I'll write it right here. Remember that? That was the first thing that we looked at. I didn't even have to figure it out. All I had to do was look at that equation, and it told me what the slope was. So let's plug the stuff in here. So it's just going to be y equals m, which is negative 1/4, x. Remember, when we write our final answer, the x just stays x, and the y just stays y. We've already plugged stuff into it to get our b, didn't we? So this time, our y stays y, our x stays x. We just plug in the numbers for the m and the b. So what is the b? It's positive 1, so I put plus 1, and that's my answer right there. It's not so bad, is it? Look, what do? We found the slope, we plugged it in. The x-intercept, we knew it was a point, 4, 0, so we knew that was an x and that was a y. Plug those in. Plug 3 of the 4 things in, we solve for b. That was easy math. Solve for b. Put it all together. There's my slope, there's my y-intercept, and I'm done. It really is very, very quick. I'm going to give you a chance to do one on your own. Let's do... what's a good one to do? Let's do number 2. Right? Looks like we are repeating the ones from the other class, but that's all right. I want you to do number 2. Look what it says. It says it's perpendicular. Now, this is a little bit different than what we did today, but I explained it just a little earlier. It's perpendicular to this line right here. And it also has an x-intercept, and the x-intercept just happens to be the same exact number. So that makes it kind of easy. All right, I'm going to give you 1 minute. Ready? Go. Okay, time's up. Let's do this thing. Now, the other problem we just finished doing said it was parallel, didn't it? But this one says perpendicular. So that's right. You flip it and you change the sign of it, right? You flip it and you change the sign. So what's that going to give you here then? What's our slope?
-2.
Well, the m equals -2, right? So that's my slope. I'm not done, am I? No, I got to do the whole y equals mx plus b thing. So what does this tell me right here? This x-intercept. It tells me my point is what? 4, 0. And that 4 is my x and the y is my 0, right? We did that in the last problem. So now we just plug everything into this, don't we? So let's plug everything in. Yep, it's 0 equals m. This time it's -2, right? Times x, which is 4, and then plus b. So let's keep going. That's -8 plus b. Add an 8 to both sides, and what's b equal to?
8.
B's equal to 8. We're basically done then, aren't we? We just have to put it all together in the slope-intercept form. So let's do that. Y equals what? -2, and then an x, and then your b, which is plus 8. Oops, I put b. All right, plus 8. That's all there is to it. See how quick that was? Very quick. Yes? -2 over 1 is the same thing as -2, but you don't need it over 1. All right, is it wrong if you put it over? Listen to me. I'm answering your question. I said, is it wrong if you put -2 over 1? Of course not. Okay, it's not wrong, but don't write it like that. There's no reason to put it over 1. What did I just say? I said it's not wrong.
You said there's no reason to, so I'm asking you.
Right, there's no reason to, but I'm not, Freddie, I am not marking it wrong.
That's what I was asking.
I said it like 3 times before. All right, I'm going to stay calm. I'm going to stay calm, and you can watch the video, okay? I said you could put this over 1 if you wanted to. Okay, I will not mark it wrong if you do, but don't do it, okay? Just because you get it right by doing it, don't do it, because I'm trying to teach you not to put it over 1 when you don't need to. That's what I'm trying to tell you. All right, let's keep going. Let's do another one. This time, we're not going to do that parallel perpendicular thing. This time they tell you what the slope is. Let's do number 8. I'm looking at number 8. They tell you what the slope is. They tell you the slope is 5 over 6. And they give you a point that it passes through. They don't tell you the x-intercept this time. They just give you some point that our line actually goes through. This is not just any random point. This is a point that actually lies on our line. Okay? So this point lies on the line that we're trying to figure out, and this is the slope of the line. And we want to find the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. Okay? First thing I write down is y equals mx plus b. And now I need to plug stuff in. Yeah, plug in, well, you know, plug 5, 6 in for the m, right? That's easy. But where do I put that 12? In for the what? In for the x. That's right, because this ordered pair goes x, y, right? So the 12 goes in for the x, the 4 goes in for the y, the 5, 6 goes in for the m. And then what do I solve for? Solve for b. So let's do that. The y is 4 equals m, which is 5 over 6, times x, which is 12. But I'm going to write it over 1 because I'm multiplying it by a fraction. And then plus b. And now I just do some math and I solve for b. Once I solve for b, really all my math is done. I'm done with my math. It's just putting it in the equation. So watch what happens here. You don't have to go 5 times 12, do you? You could if you wanted to, but watch. This is the best way to do it. 6 goes into 6 1 time. 6 goes into 12, what? 2 times. So 4 equals what? 10. Right, 5 times 2 is 10. Plus b, and now you solve for b. Subtract 10 from both sides. And b is, what's 4 minus 10? It's negative 6. You should be able to do that in your head. If not, if you're messing up with your arithmetic, then use a calculator. I almost hate saying to use a calculator because I feel so strongly that you should be able to do that stuff in your head and not use a calculator. But if you're going to get it wrong by doing it in your head, then use a calculator for goodness sakes, all right? Get it right. That's what we're concerned about. So now we're ready to go. I know my slope. I know my y-intercept. Now I just put those two things together, right, to get what? Y equals 5 6x minus 6. Now, can you put plus negative 6? Yes, you can. But should you? No, you should not. You should not put plus negative 6. We're trying to get away from that. We're trying to make it look nice and clean and streamlined. It wouldn't be wrong. It wouldn't be wrong if you put plus negative 6, but this looks cleaner. It looks nicer. It's the better way to write it, okay? There are right and wrong, but even if a problem's right, there are certain ways that you need to write things out. Don't put plus negative 6, just put a minus 6. That's the best way to write it, okay? That's what I'm asking you to do. So I don't know what the debate is about whether you should do that or not. It's pretty basic to me. All right, let's do another one. Let me have you do one, actually. I'll let you practice one. Let's do number... let me find a good one. Number 12. Do number 12. All right? I'll give you about 30 seconds this time. Ready? Go. All right, everybody ready? What are we trying to do? We're trying to write this in a slope-intercept form. So the first thing I write down is y equals mx plus b. It's supposed to be an x. And then we plug stuff into this. Look, they tell me all three things, don't they? You just have to know which one's which. Well, m, that's pretty obvious, isn't it? That goes in for the m. What does the 1 go in for? The x. What does the negative 3 go in for? Y. This is like the third or fourth time we've done this today, isn't it? All right, so let's plug the stuff in, see what we get. Y is negative 3 equals m, which is positive 3. That's being multiplied by x, which is positive 1, plus b. So it's negative 3 equals 3 plus b. Subtract 3 from both sides, right, because I'm trying to get b by itself. That cancels out. Negative 3 minus 3. Can you do that in your head or not? It's negative 6. You should be able to. So it's b equals negative 6. And look, that's really all the math that we had to do. Now we just put the two things together. Here's our slope. Here's our y-intercept. Put them together, and it's y equals 3x minus 6. And that's your answer right there. That is your answer. Okay, and I know I circled these two things, but that's your answer right there. Can you do that? You should be able to do that on your own. Shouldn't be that hard. Now let's do another one together, and then we might have time. I don't know if we'll have time. We may not have time for you to try one yourself. But you should be trying these problems tonight. I'm going to let you hang on to this. Here we go. Here's a problem where let's do this one, number 17. They give you 2 points this time. They don't give you the slope. They basically gave you the slope in all the problems that we've done today. This time they don't give you the slope. They give you 2 points. So yeah, so you need to find the slope, right? You have to do the work to find the slope. They gave us a slope before. They don't now, but we can find the slope. We take these 2 points and we find the slope. Remember what the slope is. You subtract the y's, put them on top, and you subtract the x's and you put them on the bottom. So let's do that. Let's subtract the y's. So it's negative 4 minus 8. Put those on top. Let's take the x's and subtract them and put them on the bottom. It's negative 2 minus 1. Make sure you put them in the right order, and you subtract the y's, put them on top, the x's on the bottom. This is negative 12 over negative 3. What does that reduce to? Positive 4. So now we know the slope, don't we? We had to do a little extra work, but we had to find the slope. So the slope is positive 4. Now we're trying to plug it into this. All the problems up to this point today, they've only given you 1 point, haven't they? But look what they do here. They give you 2 points. So what do we do? Which one goes in for this? Doesn't matter. That's right. It doesn't matter. You can pick either the first one or the second one. It doesn't matter. Let's pick this one right here, okay? There's no negatives. Makes it easy, okay? So let's plug this stuff into here. So what is the 1? Where do we put the 1 in? For the x. And where do we put the 8? In for the y. Let's plug the stuff in. So it's 8 equals m. What was our m? 4, because we just found it, times x. What's the x? 1 plus b. 8 equals 4 plus b. Subtract 4 from both sides. You're getting the hang of it now, aren't you? So it's b equals 4. Put it all together. There's my slope. There's my y-intercept. Y equals 4x plus 4. Make sense? It's easy stuff. It really is. Okay? Now, they have some graphs on there, but you can still do it the same way. They give, like 9, 10, 11. They give you 2 points on that graph, don't they? You see it? So all you got to do is the same thing. Take those points, do what we did right here, find the equation of a line. Make sense? Now, we didn't do any graphing. The bell's going to ring any second, but let's do one real quick. What if I had like this, 2/3 x minus 1? What if I asked you to graph this? Start at the negative 1. That's good. And let's... Oops, sorry. Oh, goodness gracious. Let's try this again. Okay. Watch. Negative 1. So you come down to here, negative 1, you put a point. The slope is 2/3. So what do? We rise 2. 1, 2. And then we run 3. So you rise 2, run 3, put a dot right there, or a point, connect them, and you're done. See how easy and quick that is? There's your graph, okay? So you might have a couple graphing problems on there as well. Everybody got it? Yeah. So be ready for it, please. Hang on to that worksheet. Use it to study from. Bring it tomorrow. I will collect it tomorrow. Okay? You didn't have to do page 26. If you want to use page 26 to do some practice problems, it might be a good idea. Okay? But page 25 is all I'm asking you to do.